Today we are going to discuss the third category of chemical reaction, that is displacement reaction. As the name indicate, displacement means is to remove one element from its salt by the other element. For example, there is a salt AB in the aqueous form. Aqueous, as I have explained you, if the salt is dissolved in water, that solution of the salt is called the aqueous solution. Here, as we know by the sign conventions, the front part of the salt is the cation, which is a metal, and the second part or the last part of the salt is anion, which is a non-metal. So metals are always written in the front of the salt. Now C is another metal which is taken in the solid form. So this is another metal. Here what will happen? A metal will be displaced by another metal. That means A is the metal and it will be taken up by C. This place will be taken up by C and A will be removed from its salt. So the formula becomes CB, this again in the aqueous form, plus A, and A which is released will be in the solid form. So this way C is gonna replace A from its salt solution. We always must remember this thing, that a metal will be displaced by other metal. Metal will only displace other metal, it will not displace the non-metal, right? So there is always a displacement of metal by other metal. Now there is a condition. When C can displace A, when a metal can displace the other metal. Here we have to follow a rule, and that rule is more reactive metal will displace a less reactive metal. That means the reactivity in the above reaction, the reactivity of C metal must be more than A. Then only this reaction has been possible. If this is not true, if the rule is not being followed, then this reaction is also not possible. Now, how can we get to know that which metal is more reactive and which metal is less reactive? There must be some table, there must be some information from where we can get this idea that which metal can displace the other metal. So for this we need to have a series which is called reactivity series. We need to know the series which is called reactivity series. So let's see the reactivity series. This is the reactivity series, children. Here you can see that I have written most commonly used elements like the metals like potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, gold and platinum. So these are few metals which are shown in the series. Now we have to see that I have written here, this side it is the reacting, this side the reactivity is being decreased. So according to this, potassium is the most reactive metal and lead, gold, silver, these are least reactive metal. Even you can see hydrogen is being placed here. Now hydrogen, as the series is of metals, hydrogen being a non-metal placed in this series, it is because most of the acids, or mainly all the acids, they contain hydrogen. Acids contain hydrogen, like acids like HCl, H2SO4, nitric acid, HNO3. So hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, they all contain, as I said, in the front part you have metal. So instead of metal you have hydrogen in that, in the front side, right? Non-metal is placed here, and in front of the non-metal there is, in the place of non-metal you are having, in the place of metal you are having hydrogen. So these metals which are placed below hydrogen, that is copper, mercury, gold, silver, gold, platinum, these metals cannot replace even hydrogen from the acids. That means the reactivity of these metals are even less than hydrogen, while the metals which are placed above hydrogen, that is all these metals right from lead to potassium, these metals are more reactive. So whenever they are added in any acid, the hydrogen gas is liberated. That means they release the hydrogen, and in place of hydrogen these metals are been displaced, right? These metals are been placed. So let's see one example. um, Iron in the solid form plus copper sulfate. This is the salt in the aqueous form. This is a blue color solution. This is a blue solution. So when iron is placed in copper sulfate solution, according to this series, we can see that copper is less reactive, iron is more reactive. So iron can displace copper from its solution. Hence iron is displacing copper. So we are getting FeSO4. You can see a metal is displacing another metal in the aqueous form, and plus we are getting copper solid. Now the solution which was of blue color turns into light green. So there is a prominent change in the color of the solution. This occurs because the solution which was copper sulfate, when iron is added in it, it changes from copper sulfate to iron sulfate. So that is why there is change in the color. So I'll show you this with the help of a diagram. In a beaker, we have poured a solution of copper sulfate, which is of blue in color. Now we are putting an iron nail in it, and this iron nail, as you know, it should be rust free. It is gray black in color. Iron nail. Now, as you know, iron will start displacing copper from the solution. So the solution will, after some time, after 10 minutes or 5 minutes, you will see, what you will observe is the solution color from blue has changed to light green, and on iron nail we are getting some deposition of brown color. So why this solution has changed to light green? As we have discussed in this reaction, just now we have discussed why it is changing from blue to light green is due to the formation of ferrous sulfate, iron sulfate. So here why this is changing, we can write this change is because of the formation of ferrous sulfate solution, And what this deposition is of brown color on the iron nail, as you know, copper color is brown. So when the copper is being displaced from the solution, it will go and sit on iron nail, and copper will get deposited in the form of solid. You might have seen copper wires and all, no? So copper is brown color, is of brown color, so that will get deposited on this iron nail. So this way we can see a very prominent change, and we can observe the change in color and formation of the solid precipitate, or the formation of a solid metal layer on the iron nail. So this is a very common question which can be asked in the board, that why there is a change in color, which compound has been formed, and why this has been possible. Just think about, if I'll be giving you one situation, whether that situation is possible or not. Like I am writing you, I am giving you aluminum chloride aqueous solution reacting with copper solid. Is the reaction possible? Let's try to answer this. Can copper displace iron from its solution? Now we have to check this. For this, we have to again refer to the reactivity series. Let's see, in the reactivity series, aluminum is placed here and copper is placed here. Copper is much less reactive as compared to aluminum. Now the rule says that the more reactive metal will displace a less reactive metal, and vice versa can't be possible. Like copper, which is a less reactive metal, cannot displace a higher reactive metal, which is aluminum. And in the question which I have given is, copper wants, according to this situation, copper should displace aluminum. Is this possible? So according to the series, this is not possible, because copper is of low reactivity and aluminum is comparatively of high reactivity. So this reaction is not possible. Yes, if the opposite thing has been written, like copper chloride plus aluminum, then definitely that is possible, because aluminum is more reactive than copper. Let me give you one more example of displacement reaction, which is in very common use, and that is thermite reaction. This is the example of displacement reaction. In thermite reaction, we are using iron oxide, Fe2O3, reacting with aluminum. According to the reactivity series, iron is less reactive, aluminum is more reactive. So aluminum can displace iron from its salt solution. So we'll be getting aluminum oxide plus iron. What is special thing over here is, the iron which has been obtained is not in the solid form, is in the molten form, or is in the liquid form. Why this is so? Because this particular reaction is releasing large amount of heat. This particular reaction is releasing large amount of heat, and such a reaction, as I've already told you, is called exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction. And this heat is responsible for melting this iron. So this reaction is used for welding of railway tracks. As you know, in railway tracks, you know, the tracks are been placed and there is certain gap, or sometimes you can get the cracks in the tracks also. So to weld them up, this reaction is being done from this reaction in the container, and there is a tap at the bottom. It's somewhat like this. This is the shape of the container, and there is a tap here. right? Here this thermite reaction is being done. Here the thermite reaction is being done. And this produce the molten iron. So the tap is being opened and the molten iron is being poured at the place where you get the cracks. So that way it can be weld. So this is the very common example of thermite reaction. This is the very common example of displacement reaction, and which has a very common use also. So I hope the displacement reaction is clear to everyone.